Hello and welcome to INFINOX Market Insights with me, Richard Perry, analysing markets for INFINOX on Tuesday, the 1st of June. Well, as European session takes over, markets are fairly sluggish early today. There was public holidays in the US and UK yesterday, so the markets have been failing to really get going after that. However, the trends that we've seen recently, which have been mostly towards the dollar negativity, although dollar did threaten a little technical rally last week, that was quickly snuffed out, and it seems as though the trends that we're seeing over recent weeks are regaining their traction once more. Euro is testing key level of resistance, and we've got equity markets up at also testing key resistance levels. But is the traction there for a breakout, or are we again bumping up against a ceiling that we're going to then turn over once more? So with regards to where we're looking at in terms of data points today, well, we've got a whole batch of PMI data. We've got Eurozone inflation numbers, and that's just ahead of a whole number of key tier one data points throughout this week. But throughout today, the manufacturing PMIs are coming out. They are final numbers, so they're actually just reiterations of the flash data that we had previously. So we're not expecting too much of a bout of volatility on the back of that. However, the Eurozone inflation numbers could have a bit of a stir at this morning, so watch out for those. The RBA, the Reserve Bank of Australia, had its monetary policy decision this morning. No change really, and that came as maybe a slight disappointment, especially given the slight hawkish tilt that we got from the RBNZ last week. But the Reserve Bank of Australia not really doing a great deal to change any current track of policy. And the Aussie is slightly suffering on the back of that. But I think generally speaking, the Aussie is in a bit of a range phase. And I'll go through the technicals to give you some levels in a bit. But certainly that will be a lack of real trend, I think, on the Aussie there. So don't forget, at the end of this video, we've got the INFINOX support and resistance table for your levels. Now, in terms of charts that we've got on the agenda today, we've got Euro up against that resistance. I'll talk about the technicals on that. We've also got the Aussie, which again, the reaction to the RBA meeting, and finally oil price as well. We've got an OPEC plus meeting today. The oil price is coming up to test a key level of resistance, but can it break out is the question. Let's have a look at these charts. Onto the INFINOX MT5 chart platform now, and what we can see on Eurodollar is that it had an initial move that looked to be breaking this uptrend, and it reacted higher back on Friday and then has pushed on since then. It's now testing this key area of resistance that starts to come in around the sort of 2230 to 2265 area. Now, the issue that I've got with Eurodollar is that we pulled up from this 21-day moving average, which is a positive, but you look at the momentum, you don't really look at this momentum, you think that's on the brink of really bursting higher. Even on the 4-hour chart, it's picked up a little bit, but it's looking fairly sluggish still. And the fact that it initially broke that uptrend, that gives me a little bit of concern as well. So we do have Euro, which is pushing resistance, but can it continue to break higher and really move through the gears and push up through to the really key level of resistance at 2350? I think it may well be able to push on, but I think it may still be struggling to really push through the key levels of resistance overhead. So I'd say that maybe upside potential could be a little bit limited if this does continue with the lack of momentum. And onto the Aussie chart, well, you can see that the range really is still in force here. I'm going to zoom in quickly because on the 4-hour chart, you can see that this was the reaction here on the Reserve Bank of New Zealand date update, where they slightly moved hawkishly, but since then the Aussie has been under pressure. And again, this morning we've had the RBA decision that the Aussie came under pressure for. It's slightly picked up again, but you can see that it's a real lack of traction, and that's because the Federal Reserve and the RBA don't seem to be moving on monetary policy anywhere anytime soon. So that's likely to drive a ranging phase. We can see that with the Aussie here, and it's a real lack of momentum that we do have. So you'd be fading rallies, I think, anywhere around the resistance levels that come in around 77.60, 77.70 up towards 77.80, 90 area. And I can't really see this going very far. And finally, on the oil chart, well, OPEC Plus is meeting today. Are they going to be increasing their production levels? It doesn't look like they are likely to be doing a great deal today. So we've had this run higher in the last few sessions, and it obviously is looking to break through key levels of resistance. Momentum is picking up. You look on the 4-hour chart for that, it's actually quite strong momentum. So it's looking positive, actually. But the question is, can it continue to move higher if OPEC Plus don't do a great deal? This is now into a key level of resistance, and it really would need to really push through this level of resistance, and that's big resistance around $72. And again, I'd be worried as to whether that can actually make that breakout if the OPEC Plus don't do anything. So I'd be looking at potentially for this run to sort of run out of a bit of steam and maybe could sort of pull back again towards the 69 area, and maybe then look to reposition once more. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it informative for your trading. Join me again tomorrow on Wednesday, where we'll be looking at the ADP employment numbers and looking ahead to that payrolls report. So I will leave you with the INFINOX support and resistance table, and I'll speak to you then. Thank you very much.